Hey, we're back.
Oh, hey, guys.
Oh, we're here, and we forgot the sink.
I shouldn't clap.
Don't fuck me up. I'm gonna be looking at that later, and like, why is that there?
Wait a second.
But yeah, dude, it was like, and yeah, it's just annoying. If I was to write a book like this, it would be like, actually, my buddy lent me this book. It's kind of like a cringe red pill book, but it's 13 rules to how not to be a cuck. Look how thin that is. Like, this is
Did
what
you learn not how to be?
I read 4 or 5 of the rules already. But like each thing is like 4 pages. Like, this is what the masses need.
I saw a picture. I like pictures.
Yeah, it's got pictures in there. It's even got pictures. This has pictures at the beginning of each chapter, but they're so far and few between that I feel like I'm losing the plot as I get in here.
Damn. So is this like a meme of that book? Is that what's going on here?
You know what's interesting? If I were to compare them initially, I would say that some of the rules in here are more or less valuable than... Yeah, I mean, like, Rule 10 for this book is think with your big head, which is essentially don't think with your dick. I mean, that's a pretty useful rule.
Sure.
If you're a guy.
Yeah.
But there's also other cringe in here that I don't... I mean, it even says go your own way. And I also don't like this, like, permanently banned from Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Like, if you can't come up with rules that can socially, like, make it, then I don't know. Like,
I don't know, the liberal media can't hear me tell you not to become a cuck.
Like, I like the find meaning in your life. That's a pretty standard, like, the whole thing is, like, 4 pages, and it's basically like, you gotta figure out what you want to do, bro. Go figure it out. Yeah. It's like, cool, that's not really advice, but I appreciate, he's like, it's kind of like loose, like, red pill philosophy. It's like, he like teases existentialism, and he's like, I'm not going to get into existentialism here, but essentially, you have a canvas, and you're going to paint your canvas. You know, life doesn't have meaning, but you can give it meaning through action. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of like the basic, I mean, that's whatever. Like life. That's enough philosophy for somebody to work with. Yeah. And then that's fine. It's not terrible. I would probably... if I was to write a chapter like how to find meaning in your life, I would be like, okay, well, you know, it doesn't even have to be a canvas.
Go outside. Touch grass.
Yeah, go touch grass. Go exercise. I don't see a thing about exercise in here.
No. Oh, you know what? Is that in Jordan Peterson's? Is that like clean your room?
No, honestly, so the joke about clean your room, he barely even says the fucking clean your room meme thing in here. He must have said it in some talk or something.
Yeah, that was the big thing from his talk was like, you gotta clean your room.
Yeah, and the sentiment is fine. It's like, set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. But I think even people... Even NEETs with the most messiest room, the hikikomoris of Japan that live in their parents' houses, they still have, I'm sure, some opinions about the world, even if their room's not clean.
Yeah, you're not allowed. Yeah. You say your opinion, somebody comes in and checks on you, like,
Yeah, they gauge your room.
There's a little schmutz over there.
Yeah, they have a Twitter poll, but you have to download a 360 camera that scans your room before you're allowed to respond to the Twitter poll.
Yeah, and then a Jewish guy knocks on your door and checks it. And goes,
in Japan.
Oi, hey, there's some schmutz here. I don't know why I call it schmutz. Anyway.
Yeah, anyways. Yeah, it's just like, man, you don't need 30 pages to tell the truth or at least don't lie. And I kind of get it because, like, you know, Jordan Peterson's whole thing is like, I love the Bible. So, like, in a way, he's trying to communicate parables to people so that they're relatable in a sense that if you have a story as a grounding, you can easily... But the problem is that as you read it, it almost feels like he's simultaneously so well-read and not well-read at the same time because he just references the same 6 books over and over again. Yeah. It's Gulag Archipelago by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, which is about being in the concentration camps in Russia, or the prison labor, whatever. Yeah. Then it's Jung, which I like Jung, fine, Carl Jung, sweet. Then it's the Bible, which there's a lot of kind of like an over amount of analysis on that, I would say. That seems a little unnecessary. And then it's Dostoevsky's books, which is like cool. I haven't read Dostoevsky. Maybe I should have read that before this, because then I would be able to relate to some of the things he's saying. Like, it's just, I don't know. It feels like there's like 6 books that repeat, and then I'm just like, what the fuck is the point? I do, honestly, if I had to recommend any chapter, I would say Rule 1 is great. The difference between chaos and order, I enjoyed, but Also, I recognize that I'm seeing the world through my value system now, and my value system now is probably not the things in this book. And it's also not the things in 13 Rules
To not be a cuck.
to not be a cuck, because simply just
Do
saying...
you need rules to not be a cuck, or could you just be like, I don't really feel like having someone have sex with my wife while I watch?
Yeah. I mean,
Do you need rules?
it's probably, it's probably egregious to say how not to be a fucking cuck. Because isn't that kind of... I mean, if you're fucking and you're a cuck, then aren't you not a cuck?
You're actively having sex. You're not... What? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe someone who's a cuck in the comments can point it out to us.
Yeah, fellow cucks, could you let us know? And then the worst part about this is there's like some spelling errors in here too. It's like if you're gonna write a book that's only...
You gotta have someone check it.
Yeah, like at least fucking... I mean, come on, dude. And you're like pulling quotes from people. It's not even stuff he wrote.
God.
It's just the quotes themselves are fucking...
I bet that guy was like really he's like, oh man, I'm the best writer. I'm just gonna proofread it once. I don't even have to.
Yeah, it feels like some of the stuff is... And then he goes into the whole... Yeah, like... Men are valueless because they're disposable, because they can have a gajillion children, but they don't have eggs, whereas women's eggs are limited, and so that's why culturally and biologically and societally women have value, but men don't. And it's like, I feel like if you view the world through this perception, then yes, it's true. But you don't have to view the world through...
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm delusional.
Maybe you could find value in other things.
Yeah, I don't know.
You
It
know,
just
I don't
seems... These rules books, I think they suck. That's
Yeah.
what I think. You know what rule book I actually like is the
Dungeons and Dragons.
No, I actually like rule. I like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That was pretty good. You should read that one.
That one's got a number in it.
That
too.
one, and it's got pictures too. That's what I really like.
Oh my god!
Look, it got
picture.
Look, circle of influence. I hate to sound like a fucking soy jack here, but yeah,
I can't. There's not enough room.
You
in this.
can't. I hate to sound like a, I don't know, like a pseudo-intellectual soy jack pog face guy, but
A Redditor.
a Redditor, but I just don't like these books. There's something about them.
Let me tell you about Reddit.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Bad. Did we talk about this before?
I think we did.
Oh, okay.
But what did you notice on it recently? Is
Oh,
there
no.
something you saw?
It's just that like before they did this was a while ago, but they forced it so you have to use their app, their garbage app. And so, like, their garbage app is trash.
Yeah.
And it force feeds you garbage. And it's like, I don't really feel like slogging through force-fed, like, ads and all these subreddits. I don't subscribe. I used to like using Reddit. I don't like comment or anything.
Yeah, you're a lurker. I got it.
I just want to, like, look at stuff.
Yeah, you're a little larva on the...
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to
crawling through the boards.
I think if you look through all my comments, they're like I used to trade Pokemon on Reddit, and so that was all my comments are that. But anyway, so yeah, no, I deleted the app, and it's just like why am I suffering? Why like I go through this and I'm like I just want to see the stuff I'm subscribed to, but it's like, hey man, look at all these random things from like subreddits you don't even care or want to care about. Here you go.
And then there's advertisements interspersed with that. It's like for prostate massagers, and you're like, I never looked this up ever. Why am I getting this? I mean, it's $30. It seems like it's pretty nice. But
Well,
like,
let me just click on the comments.
Yeah.
Let's just see what the bots have to say.
Yeah, wow, they really seem to like this. Somebody says, just like, somebody says that if they had any rules for life, it would be rule number 1, spend a lot of money on your bed, and rule number 2, get a prostate massager.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find the cum button inside of you. I don't know, man. I hate to just complain endlessly about these rules books or Reddit or all this stuff. But
Yeah, what positive thing happened in your life?
yeah, let's talk about something positive. I've been so I watched some anime recently.
That's
Okay.
positive.
Yeah.
Damn.
No, you're gonna love this because so I watched the first episode of a bunch of anime that's airing now, and I hated like all of them.
Yeah.
So one of them was, and it's really funny. I'll just briefly summarize it. They have this egregiously long 40 to 50 minute intro episode. So we're gonna have. So here, I'll explain it to you very simply.
I'm ready.
So there's 2 timelines. Okay. First timeline, guy has this little girl that's very tough that he's like, I don't know, pampering and adores. Okay, but he's not strong. He's weak. She dies.
Okay.
He spends the rest of his life becoming the strongest person in the world and tries to
Oh.
genocide all of the dragons. Okay, ignore that plot line now.
Yeah.
Main plot line. Guy with the girl. His future self from that plot line is communicating to his past self before the girl gets killed by the dragon.
Because he's become the strongest person ever.
Because, yeah, and because he lost the girl in that timeline, the guy's like, hey, his older self is like, hey, I'm going to give you the power that I have now at the cost of, like, I don't know, whatever, sacrificing some of your life or some bullshit, who cares? But you're going to have infinite power. And he's like, well, yeah, I want to save the girl, so duh. And so 50 minutes go by. At the end of the episode, he gets the ultimate power of ultimate destiny from his future self and then saves the girl.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my god.
Plot
so
over.
Instead of having like an isekai where he just turns out to be super strong or whatever, they had to go through this long 50-minute roundabout bullshit of he's infinitely strong. He's been training forever. It's like, if you're going to have your dumb power fantasy, why does it have to be like this? Like, it's almost like a cheaper version of, like, they're, instead of just making him powerful, they're like, we need to have a reason for him to be powerful. But that reason is just as stupid as not. So anyways, I watched a bunch of these anime and they all sucked. And then one that people were talking about, So no Freyrin, I tried it. Fucking amazing. It is so good. So here's the plot of this one. It's fucking great. So imagine your Dungeons and Dragons party, okay?
Okay.
You got your cleric, who's a priest.
Sure.
Okay. You have your hero, like main guy.
Mm.
Then you have a dwarf who's like your tank. And then you have a mage. Okay. And they have to go kill the Demon King.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they kill the Demon King.
Yeah.
Okay.
They did it.
The story takes place after they already beat all the big bad and everything. Okay. The mage of that party is an elf that lives an extraordinary long period of time. And she's also very like apathetic at the beginning of the story. And so all of her friends like are dying. All the people that she met. Because she's living beyond them. And she is not valuing those moments that she spent with them because it was such a small fraction of her life.
Yeah.
And so the whole plot is basically about her learning to value her relationship with people, retreading her steps, and going to fucking amazing.
She gets all like depressed.
Kind of.
And she goes like, well, like, what's the point of all this for a little bit?
It's not necessarily depression. It's much more like regret and acknowledging that, like, oh, I could have taken the opportunity to learn more from my friends here, or like I'm learning to value these relationships and have empathy. And all the characters have like some semblance of like interesting personality. There's nobody that's just like a pure fan service, like annoying character. Probably because, you know, it's written well. But it's like
they don't need it.
Yeah, they don't need it. But it's such a compelling story because it is about, in essence, if I had to summarize the entire thing, it's basically about learning to value not the destination but the journey of the process. And so each little story in it kind of goes between things. Sometimes it's a little bit of philosophy about like accepting the present moment and understanding it. Sometimes it's like a little joke short story where they just meet with people and help them and save them or something. Sometimes it's like character development. It just feels like it's always something interesting, and it's never, it never, I mean, even if there is filler, it's enjoyable because the characters are so enjoyable.
Yeah.
So the show is only at episode 13 at this moment. So I watched all the way up to that, and I found the manga, and I read all 11 volumes.
Jesus.
They go way, and it was like 2 days, dude. I'll probably go back and read them again because I really did like them.
Damn.
But the characters are super funny, and you're constantly bouncing back between like the original adventures from the heroes as well as the modern day with the new companions that she's picked up as she's going through and like going through all this stuff. So I don't know, it's very enjoyable. And I just criticized the last show for having somebody infinitely powerful, but in this, the main elf character, the girl, Freyrin herself, is very powerful, with some caveats to it. But that doesn't detract from the show at all because she's not necessarily like plowing through everything and destroying it instantly. She's like allowing her friends to take opportunities to learn how to grow stronger. She's like sometimes engaging, sometimes not, sometimes disengaging, knowing when to go forward and back. Like, and then they all have their own weaknesses and stuff like that. But super good. Oh man, it's a banger. I love that fucking show.
Damn.
So yeah, that's a positive thing in my life. What about you, man? Tell me about your positives.
You know, you ever just feel like time is just escaping? Like I just wake up and I'm like, it's Thursday?
Yeah, this is a positive thing, right? No.
No, not not. I guess yes and no. You know, so like it's like I wake up and I'm living my life. I'm going to job.
Hmm.
I'm working job and I'm like, ah, great. I'm gonna try to get job better, so that way I can have more.
Mm.
You know, in the simplest terms, I think I could put it. Um, and so like I spent all weekend sick. I just played video games. You text me at some point over Discord, and that's whenever we had that confusing
Yeah.
message. Yeah. So yeah, I was playing League of Legends. I'm sorry
Mm.
about that.
No, it doesn't
No,
matter. It was just funny because you were like, it was a
can't
really
do
badly worded.
Thursday, but
Yeah.
I meant Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was funny. So you feel like, I mean, I've definitely felt that feeling before of like, oh, I'm just wasting time.
It's not even that I'm wasting time. It's just that like I don't have anything else I could. I guess I could do more to waste less time or whatever. But like I just feel like I'm at a point right now where it's just like I don't have anything big coming up. I don't have anything I really have to do. Like I've done all the things that I wanted to get done. So like I just kind of coast right now, and so like time goes by super fast. And like talking to my wife, it's like time goes by really fast. But there are moments, and this is like whatever. But like there's moments where like we're staying up late and just like talking, and like at those moments I'm like, oh wait, time has slowed back down. I'm like back in my body piloting again. It's no longer on autopilot for a little bit, like just in those moments, and that's like a really nice, weird feeling, I guess.
Hmm.
And so I don't know. I don't know what that necessarily means, but I thought that there was that's kind of the nice thing that's been going on is that like I live my life, and even though everything feels like it's going by and like I'm just gonna be old soon, it's just like, oh hey wait, the, there are moments of like goodness or whatever. So I don't know. Hey, that's good.
So yeah, okay. I think I get what you're saying. I mean, it's basically like, let's see if I can word this in my own words, and you can tell me if I summarized it correctly to you.
Yeah.
So from what you're communicating to me is maybe you feel like you're coasting, you're comfortable, you don't have like any like goals that make you suffer to get to, essentially.
Sure, yeah.
Life feels easy in
Mm-hmm.
a lot of respects, and you don't like that easiness in some capacity because it makes time go by faster and it doesn't feel like there's anything at stake or like some.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it also sounds like you value a lot your conversations with your wife because they're not just you distracting yourself from the time that you're not
Yeah.
spending chasing something, essentially.
Yeah, I'm just having a good time.
Yeah.
And just at moments, and so those moments are the good thing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But anyway, yeah, other than that, time's just been going by really fast. Like all weekend I was like, man, I got stuff to do, but then I got sick. So it was just like I just ended up sitting at home and grinding League of Legends and junk. So
Well, this is probably some horrible advice to give you
uh-huh.
because rather than listening and just trying to empathize with what you're saying,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to make a joke.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe, and this is unorthodox.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just starve yourself for like a week.
Okay.
I bet time will go real slow then.
It would.
It's like partly a joke and partly because like you're gonna be like, oh my god, is this week gonna get over soon?
When is it? When is it the day that I can eat next? Yeah. No, that would slow it down a lot. But I mean, like we've talked about this before. Like if I go a day without eating, I'm just irritable. I hate life.
Yeah.
And
no, it was. I'm not. You don't need to defend yourself. It was. Mainly,
I'm going to defend myself.
It was mainly just a joke because I was thinking like, well, how could you slow time down? And then I was thinking Andrew Huberman, one of his videos was like, well, dopamine is intrinsically linked or physiologically linked to how fast you blink your eyes. So if you're like watching a lot of very stimulating things and you blink really quickly, that's actually how fast time is going for you. It's like the frame rate essentially of your life. And so I was like, well, if you want to slow your life down, in my head I'm thinking like you just keep your eyes pried open.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't blink. Time goes really fucking slow.
Water on there.
Yeah. Yeah, you have your wife pour water and you're just like, babe, I just need to make sure this game lasts a long time.
I'm gaming.
Yeah. So that was my other thought I had. But
Oh
why
God.
don't you set some goals, man? What is there anything preventing you from
Setting
yeah,
goals.
setting a new
Right
higher goal?
now, I just need to make money so that way I
Yeah,
can
but
prepare
obviously
for
you're
my
making money
future. That's
regardless.
yeah, that's the problem.
So why don't you do something else?
Well, I did. So like I redid my office.
Okay.
I redid it. I got a standing desk. So
Okay.
it goes from sitting to standing. I press a
That's awesome.
button. Right. So that's cool. So I did like redid my whole setup. So now I can like be a little bit healthier. Instead of sitting all day, I can switch between sitting and standing.
So have you been standing and gaming then?
Actually, yeah, it's weird because it has this weird side effect where like if I'm playing bad and like I'm playing Counter Strike, okay, a game that requires like kind of twitch reflexes and stuff. I notice if I'm like sluggish and I'm just like not thinking anymore. If I switch to standing because of the environment change, I all of a sudden play better.
That's cool.
And
Yeah.
so like I can switch between the two, but as soon as I get used to standing, I go back down to sitting and I can redo it.
Mm.
So you know,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's done that. I don't know. I've cleaned up a little bit around the house. I don't know, dude. The problem is I just don't have any other things. I hate to I want to bring this up, but I hate the fact that I'm bringing it up because I started playing the guitar a while ago. Again,
Hmm.
I gave up on that. I every time at a certain point when I'm playing guitar, I can see where I need to go, and I am like, I just want to like play it and hopefully it'll work, but it just something just doesn't click. Nothing like my brain just goes like I don't really like nothing pushes me to go back and start learning it like other things do. And so I end up skipping it. So I went to the piano and I started learning like the Sans Undertale song, and I'm like do 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 do, and I'm like oh that's cool. And so I kind of get to a certain point in that, and I start learning other songs, and like I slowly drop off. But the point that I always notice that I drop off is when I bring it up to other people. Whenever I start talking to other people, I get the satisfaction of the fact that I'm playing piano and telling someone that I'm playing piano, and so therefore I stop playing it.
Hmm.
So like whenever I told you about the guitar, and then I went and told another person about the guitar, that's where I stopped.
Yeah, and because that was all you needed, right? The
Yeah, I
dopamine
just
and
needed
yeah,
the quick little like, oh
yeah.
hey,
This is what I'm doing. I'm doing it. You
yeah,
know, I've suffered from that too, and I've come up to two conclusions. One of them is that if I tell people what I'm doing, I'm just talking like when I have ideas or inspiration, I'm essentially just talking myself out of my to the point where I'm uninspired. That's basically what it feels like.
yeah,
If I tell you an idea I have and I'm really excited about that idea, then I'm just getting the same dopamine from telling you than I would just doing the thing and having it tangibly exist.
yeah,
And so then it becomes an even bigger mountain to climb
mm-hmm.
because I've already told you we've dispelled the thing. You said, "Yeah, that's cool." And I'm like, "Oh, I got the external validation of Sam's opinion. Great. I'm done." And then
It's
I go
over.
to bed and then I wake up the next morning I'm like, "God, I feel like shit cuz I didn't do anything." But so that's one aspect of it. And then I also think that that ties into the next aspect of I feel like personally in my life that I've found like a lot of, or maybe this is just the way we're programmed as humans, because social, you need to have a society and what, well, I don't know. And that sounds egregious. You don't need to have a society. But
We live in
this
a
idea of
society.
like we're social creatures, right? We
Yeah,
need to have relationships. It's shown in science that relationships make you live longer, less stress, all of that shit. Got it. So there's clearly some intrinsic thing within ourselves that makes us crave the social and external validation of others. But like the struggle is that if you constantly value the opinions of others, then you're not valuing the opinions of yourself. Like you need to. It seems like in my head, I need to become my own judge because I suffer from the same thing.
no,
It's like this idea of like, well, I care what other people think, but then it's like, well, why? Like, what does that matter? Like,
yeah,
if I do something that's controversial, then even if it feels closer to who I want to be, then that should be.
yeah.
I'm,
Well, and it's like, yeah, the whole reason why I decided to like pick up guitar or piano again is like I really want to be able to be creative and like create something in music somehow.
mm,
I just feel as though I always like lack the prior knowledge of how to make things sound good to get to that point. And so it's like when I'm practicing piano, it's like I just like hit all the notes. I'm like, okay, so I kind of get what I need to do to make notes happen that sound good ish together. But I don't know. I don't know anybody who could tell me how to make the music sound good to me that I create or what. I don't know.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Or
No,
where
it's
we
fine.
started, but you know,
We can just peter out of it. We can call this one petering out with the boys.
that's right.
We're both petering out.
Yeah, we're just petering out with the
We're-
boys.
The whole thing. We're petering
Just
out. Low energy petering out podcast. No, I get what you're saying. I completely understand that. For me, when I play guitar, I try to look up. I have like an app, which I'll just pull it up. It'll be easier said.
I don't know if this is something you want said, but your album that you had randomly comes up on my super mix.
Mm-hmm.
The songs are still good.
That's
so,
cool.
You know,
Actually,
I still like the songs on there.
It's funny that you said that because I got that compliment from somebody else as well, and then I actually went back and listened to it, and I was like, actually, some of these are better than I remember.
Yeah.
Like I sort of like looked at them when I made them. I was like, man, they're not good. I don't like them that much. But then coming back like a year, 2 years later, 3 years later now, I guess it's probably 3 years since I've released the album, but. I'm looking back at it and I'm like, it's actually not as bad as I remember. And then some of the songs I'm like, this is actually, the lyrics, I like these quite a bit. I forgot about them because I don't play them anymore. I've just been writing new stuff.
Yeah.
But the app I have is essentially if you just pick like a vibe you want, so you can put like melancholy, and then it'll already come up with a key, and then it'll show you what the things are for the guitar, and then it shows you all the chords within this key of B minor that you can use.
So the next one you could use.
So this is what it sounds like good, like in order if you want it to sound melancholic.
Yeah.
But you can also pick other chords. Like you could play a B minor and then you could play a G and see how that sounds or whatever. I could send you that later. But
that one.
It's pretty simple. It's basically, it's what it is.
Yeah.
For you if you want to see it.
See, with piano.
Yeah.
I find that to be a lot easier. Guitar, moving fingers is just like.
Yeah, the way some of the stuff is a struggle, especially if you have those bar chords where you have to put like a finger holding a bunch of stuff.
Thing.
Yeah. The way I would do it, or at least I've gotten good at transitioning between some of them, is just to play it slow until eventually you
go faster.
Yeah, you go faster. That's the.
I think too. Like I don't know if I ever talked about dysgraphia.
I think you have mentioned it before, but if you would cover it again, that would help me.
Yeah, so basically dysgraphia it has a lot to, you see it mostly in handwriting, where every time that I write a letter, most people whenever they're writing, they write the letters the same way every single time. Whenever I'm writing, I write every single letter uniquely, meaning that they're all like scrambled up basically, so like an A might have like a weird curve or whatever. They look different. So whenever I write, usually if someone has bad handwriting, typically you can still read their words because there's a consistency. You can like, I identify as an A, so all these are A's, all these are B's, blah, 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 right? With mine, it's really hard to read because there'll be an A here and an A here, but they'll look different. So you have to really go like,
Yeah, yeah.
So, what I believe, and this is a theory, I don't know, I haven't really looked into the thing that I believe that I have or whatever. What I think is that it affects more than that, because there are times, like even on a keyboard, where like I'll do the same key presses over and over and over again, but randomly I'll just like hit it like hit a key like on a corner and hit two keys at once or something, where it's like maybe I didn't necessarily slip up, but it's just like I know how to do that motion. I just randomly just failed it, and so I don't really know how to put that together. But I think whenever I'm playing guitar, I can do it back and forth like to the same note over and over again, and then all of a sudden. Like I'll kind of stop for a little bit and go back to try to do it again, but I'll screw up, or I mean, like I'm sure it happens to other people too, but it just feels like randomly more often than I think should happen or whatever, I'm hitting the wrong thing. So I don't know, for piano, I think because the notes are bigger, or the keys are bigger, they're a little bit easier. I have less problems with that, so I don't know.
Honestly, yeah, I could see this self-diagnosed dysgraphia affecting that in some capacity. I also think that it's more difficult with a guitar to hit notes isolatedly without hitting other shit.
Oh yeah,
because all the strings are right there. Whereas like with the piano, like you said, you got some spread out a little bit, and the difficulty is trying to manage playing like the opposites. Where I mean, I guess you're playing opposites with guitar, but it's easier to do a strumming motion than it is to like be like, oh, I'm gonna move 13 keys this way and then spread my hands in this orientation and like hit it or something. Like that seems. Yeah. I've played piano a bit here and there, but I like guitar more. So, but here, do you want to open that door so we can get some fresh air in here? Also, my dad taught me how to rewire
Beautiful.
lights. So if you want to flip the light switch, I did rewire the lights. I can show you.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Dude, look at that.
And that's 2 bulbs for each of those. I can wire that to 4 LEDs.
Nice.
So,
damn.
yeah, now you can see this sterile environment at my age. Yeah, it makes my room look really dirty, so I guess I gotta clean that. But
well, that's like, I mean, like, you never really have the lights on here.
no, I don't.
You got your
I leave
lamp.
it in darkness.
Yeah, do you want me to
Yeah, you can flip
put
it.
us back?
Yeah, I like this more.
This is more quaint. This is
Yeah.
like we have a fire.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel. Maybe we
Yeah.
should get a little fire.
Yeah, just
They all light a candle. I did actually buy a candle for this podcast because I thought it would be funny and kind of horrible to burn, but it's this dog. I was like, oh, dude, I found this like salvo, and it's like the idea of like having a dog like right here
candle.
melting
Yeah.
as we talk. Like it seems kind
why
of
would
deformed.
you want that?
Yeah, like hey, I love dogs. I'm gonna burn this dog down. Let me watch him like melt.
See, all right, my wife, she has a candle that's a cat. That's not like that. It's not detailed. Just like a PlayStation 1 cat model.
Yeah, low poly cat.
Yeah, and so like, and then inside of it is a skeleton. So
Yeah.
whenever you burn it down, there's like
That's kind of funny. Yeah.
which is that's kind of cool. But that one's just a dog.
Yeah, it's gonna be real great if we do burn it and there's red on the inside. I would die. That would be so funny. I do love the idea of being like, man, I really love dogs, so I'm gonna make a dog candle. And then you think about like the dismembering of it, like melting slowly. We'll do it for probably next podcast.
I'm ready.
I'll get a dish.
Yeah,
and I'll
just
put it
put
like
it
right here
in the middle.
and then you can just watch it melt as we talk. And then they'll be like, oh, there was a really funny part in this particular podcast. I can't remember where it was. And then somebody's friend will be like, oh, it's when the dog's head is gone. That's when, and that's how they'll table
That's the timing.
Yeah, I'll make sure all the the chapters in the video is just like when that happens.
Dog torso.
Oh my god, that's so good. But now I'm talking myself out of being uninspired by it because we're talking about.
Isn't it? You know what? All those ideas that we had about doing like the leaf raking podcast and stuff, we talked about them.
And that was it.
We're never gonna do them now.
Never.
We'll never do bass fishing.
Honestly,
podcast.
We're gonna do ice fishing next. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh, see, now you ruined it.
Fuck. How do people deal with this?
I think that they just actually do it. Somebody
Yeah.
keeps them. I think if you have the more people that you have in on something, the more likely it is to go through.
Yeah. Maybe we're just like making excuses though.
We are. I think it's funny to think about these things.
Yeah.
But logistically, do you have like a auger to go ice fishing? I don't.
I know Jacob does.
Damn.
We could do that.
We could go bother him for one.
Yeah, but I don't even know if we're gonna get enough snow to have ice this year. So we could probably
February.
still doing. Yeah, that's true.
And you can go north or whatever. We can figure it out.
I am
but-
excited if we decide to go up to your cabin. We can do another cabin podcast, and it'll be easier with these.
It will.
Like we can do it out in the snow or something.
Yeah, we can we'll have to get a camera or something.
Well, this thing plugs straight into your phone, so as long as your phone works in that low temp, we should be fine.
Yeah. I only have like 5 gigs.
I could do my phone.
You got your phone?
Yeah, my phone will work.
Okay.
You only have a 5 gig phone?
No. I'll just show you something really quick.
Yeah.
So I have 128 gigs and I have 107 gigs filled.
Wow, you have a lot of porn on there.
It's actually none of it's porn. It's all just millions of images.
Yeah, that is a lot of images.
Millions of images.
You gotta save those somewhere. Do you have them backed up?
I backed them up to a
Okay.
Google Drive last year sometime, so I could delete them, but now my Google Drive is full.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, well.
So anyway,
Sam's suffering with data hoarding.
I wonder.
So am I, though, so.
Yeah, well, like, you got books and stuff, though. Your stuff's probably a little bit more...
No, I got porn books.
Oh, okay.
I got images. I got memes.
Yeah,
I got my whole Trump phase on there somewhere.
Oh, it's all there?
Yeah, when I went on a bender.
What did you download that was, like, part of...
It was like people would... Oh, God. It was like, oh, here's, like, the leaks of, like, Hunter Biden or something. Or, like...
You're like, I gotta see these.
here, and this is going to be deleted soon. Or, or like here's random documents from political parties about like that one that they passed through within they only had like 3 days to check it, but it was like 3,000 pages of a political or whatever some legislation. I downloaded stuff like that. Like it'd be bills like Texas was threatening to like I don't remember what it's called, but separate from the United States. And I downloaded like the court documents for that type of stuff and read it. And, you know, I just watched this. Nick Mullen came out with a comedy special, and he begins the comedy special with he's like, "Remember when we tricked ourselves into thinking we were getting smarter by looking into politics?" And then his like whole bit goes on to say that like. He's like, yeah, I remember like looking at like pictures of like Hunter S. Biden's like nudes or something, and then somebody's like, well, what are you looking at? And I'd be like, I'm looking at the news, like that sort of thing. Like it just essentially, I after remembering that phase and going through it, I do not believe I got any smarter looking at politics. I feel like I got completely dumb and stupid. I entered the tribe of like this is what I'm part of, and then now I'm looking back on it and I'm just like, oh my god, what the fuck was I thinking? So I have memes, I have court documents, I have a bunch of bullshit I gotta delete at some point.
Have you ever read a bill?
Yeah.
It's so boring.
It's so dry.
It's just like...
And the worst part is that to imagine that like there are people that don't even read it and then just vote yes or no on it based on whatever.
My party...
Yeah, because it's like,
says
you have 3,000 pages, you only have 3 days to go through it. There's no way you can functionally read all of that.
Yeah,
so.
And like something that I always complained about was like, okay, so if I were to read this, right, I might not even get what it's about because there's so much legalese. Mm-hmm. And then to also have somebody that goes like, oh, hey, so here's this bill. And I'm going to read it for you. I'll tell you what it is. I can't even trust those people.
Yeah, I have to read it myself.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean?
One of my buddy's solutions, which I really liked, is he's like, you should get something like 3 hours per like 2 pages or something like that in Congress before they're allowed to vote on a bill. And I was like,
you get to really digest.
Yeah, because imagine 3,000 pages, how many hours they're going to have to allot for it, but then we probably get nothing done. So
yeah.
So I get what they say when the politicians are like, we just got to pass it to find out what's in it. Like, I get it, because, you know, who knows?
You just max it out. Like, all right, it can only be like 10 pages.
Yeah,
max.
I think, yeah.
And if you have to pass another one to get the rest of the bill, then you have to pass another one.
Yeah, you got to do 1 page at a time. That's all we can do, sort of thing. But who knows? Maybe we just need ChatGPT to
figure it out for us.
Is this good bill? Well, looking at the bill and reading through it, it like just goes on this bullshit. Like, you should vote yes if you're. This talks about Monsanto genetically modifying wheat seeds to include more iron, but at the cost of whatever
micronutrient.
Yeah, micronutrient oil rigging of slaves in Africa.
Your insides will become an oil rig after you die.
Yeah, there's a huge spiritually one of your chakras will be sealed if you eat this wheat.
But benefit iron.
Yeah, iron. We're trading our key to heaven for more iron, which will potentially make you denser, and gravity will have a bigger effect on you.
Dude, I was like looking at so Lethal Company's a video game.
Yeah, we've been playing it.
But Cruelty Squad is like the game that I'm like, man, this feels like a weird friend, or like some dude got sent in space from Cruelty Squad and like has been living in space, and this is like their reality, but Cruelty Squad is happening like on Earth or whatever while that's happening. Like they just feel close in the way that they exist. I don't know.
No, I feel that way too. I was looking up more games made by like single devs, because there's something about somebody's entire perception being put in a game that you can really feel like you're like, this is how somebody perceives something happening. Like, I'm witnessing somebody's artistic creation fully. I'm playing within it. I love that game. It really does feel like a bro. Like, I feel like me and this guy could sit down and have a conversation for like 3 weeks and not get tired.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. So I love everything he wrote and how he did it. I'm assuming it's one guy, but it could be multiple people for different things. But
yeah. Well, the Cruelty Squad one, that guy It was just him.
I think so, yeah.
If you look at his previous game, it's like the same game but single player.
That's funny.
Yeah. But that's a good time. Anyway,
Yeah,
I don't know
anyways.
how I got to that.
No, it's fine. You're just...
Oh, it was the Enlightenment.
Yeah.
That brought me to Cruelty Squad.
I actually have something to tell you.
Yeah.
So, I have this friend.
Yeah.
So, I met him years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, we played Magic once, and then I sold him my Dream Halls deck, because I had a second Dream Halls deck from some kid in high school that I bought out of Magic, essentially, because he was done with it.
Yep.
So I sold him the Dream Halls deck. Years later, just this past year, we go to Guys Weekend twice a year, which is just all the dudes go up and drink beer and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I saw him there again, because he's a friend of my cousin.
Yeah.
A cousin who I don't see very often. And so I met him up there. We were chatting. Seemed normal, fine, whatever. It was kind of just us camping together. Cool. He messages me. He's like, hey, I want to hang out soon. So I was like, okay. So we hang out, and he's telling me, like, everything that's going wrong in his life.
Uh-huh.
Like, everything is terrible. I'm not going to get into, like, all the details, but, like, some of the basic stuff is, like, he used to live in another place. He's moved back here to be with his family. He's having, like, health problems. His heart is having problems. He had, like, a lot of tension. He's struggling with, like, living with his family because he wants to be independent, but he was independent before, but he moved back for family in the first place, so there's kind of, like, this thing. He doesn't have a job. He's struggling to keep jobs. He has, like, problems where he gets really angry. Like, he was at a place, and one of his, like, bosses was having a power trip, and so he wasn't putting up with it and just, like, blew up on him and got fired. And that process is basically, like, repeated in different regards.
Yeah.
So, first time I hang out with him, it's, like, basically that. Like, he's talking about everything, all the stuff he's dealing with. His life is just, like, horrible. Okay. Second time we hang out, it's like raining. We do another walk. We go through, same thing. He's like, there are certain points where he has like a lot of adrenaline, like the things he's feeling is like really passionate about.
Damn.
And he like has to stop and like take a breather. He's like sweating, like coughing. He's like chain smoking cigarettes. He's got like weed that he's taking all at the same time. He's like trying to self-medicate and deal with everything all at the same time. He's like suffering. So then third time, okay, third time's a charm. Yesterday, I hang out with him again. And he comes here, and he's like, the first thing he says to me is, he's like, I'm firing you as my therapist. And I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, all my problems are solved. I'm like, really? He converted to Buddhism. Yeah, and became a pacifist in like the last 3 days. It was fucking wild. And it was crazy because everything, so like the entire time, my problem is that all I could do for him in those moments when we had these discussions was listen to him.
Yeah.
Like, because I knew he was hurting. I knew he was going through a bunch of stuff, and I knew he just needed somebody to like be there to like validate him in essence. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like struggling because I'm like, well, how do you tell somebody that like the way that they're choosing to react to situations is how they're essentially leading their life? Like in some ways, his inability to control his anger is affecting the outside world, and he consistently has to keep reliving this process, as well as like the rigidity of some of his understandings of Christianity, his theology, and his imposition of others is like preventing him from growing. Like he's projecting on other people and sacrificing these relationships because he believes he's like in the right and he can't accept that they have different value systems, whatever. All of this stuff like completely solved in some regard because he mentioned it. I didn't even have to bring it up. Like he knew that he was talking about like having financial trouble, and he was talking about how his cigarette habits contribute to that, and he has to buy like cheaper and cheaper cigarettes in order to sustain, which has like more and more chemicals and makes him feel worse and worse. And then he has all that. He has like whatever, he's buying weed. That's a big financial drain.
Yeah.
He's having, and he was talking about how it was actually really moving and interesting because he was talking about how he was projecting onto other people his trauma essentially. And he couldn't cope with the fact that other people were operating on different values because in his eyes he needed to like impose his Christian like morality onto people.
Yeah.
And so that ended up becoming a rigid thing where he couldn't like work with people that didn't agree with him, and he felt like probably in some way from childhood trauma that he needed to be able to speak, and people needed to hear him. But he realized that that was like an immature understanding of himself. And so he had like this conflict in the external world, and then he had conflict like in his internal world, like through his dreams. He constantly had dreams of fighting, and even his desires of playing video games were all like RTS conflict based like things. It was so wild. And so like we're going through, and the best part of it is that he acknowledged that this epiphany may be short lived. That he doesn't know how long this is going to last. That he feels like in these moments he has answers, but he's not sure how long he can keep it up.
Isn't that the worst?
So yeah, it's like it's so real and human, and I love every aspect of it. I'm paraphrasing a lot of it because I don't want to give away all his details. But it was super very funny.
I was just about to say like he did the Buddhism thing, but maybe only for a week or two.
Yeah.
But like the fact that he like brings up, I don't even know if this is gonna last.
Yeah.
Like
and he's got a lot of stuff to work through. He has like a lot that he's dealing with basically, and I can only wish the best for him. And I'm not sure how my relationship with him will evolve or devolve based on what he's doing, but I did appreciate that insight into seeing like how somebody else works and how they solve their problems and whatever. And basically all that to say that I'm going to church on Sunday. I'm going to the monk monastery. So
you're going to have
we're going to see. I don't think I'm going to make a habit of going there, but he invited me. So I was like, if you never pick me up, whatever, I'll check it out. With my ideology and philosophy now, it is not mesh with Buddhism.
No?
I can't do Buddhism because I believe that the ego is valuable, and the Eastern philosophies subvert and get rid of the ego. They're all about destroying the ego, the voice in your head.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I'm compatible with the Buddhist stuff. I move more towards Carl Jung, this understanding of in order to be whole, you have to accept every part of yourself, and that includes the ego. You need to work with it, essentially. And probably even Nietzsche, which I haven't read a ton of, but that stuff I think I agree with. This will to power concept of the Ubermensch, basically.
I think even people that go to like churches and monasteries or whatever, right? Like people that are going to these things, they probably don't believe absolutely everything. Yeah. But like, I don't know, like my wife, she goes to church and she does like the youth group and all that stuff. And like the aspect of it that like she seems to really enjoy just the community of it. It's not necessarily about Catholicism per se. I mean, it should, we're part of that religion and all that, but
Yeah, I think there is a choice there of you can hear and value the opinions of others and how they live their life theologically and how they come to their own conclusions, but whether or not you internalize it is ultimately your choice. If you choose to utilize that information with how you live your life, then that's where the ultimate thing is. And I don't feel, from what I've read of Buddhism, that my ideology is necessarily compatible with everything that they're saying, but I can pick and choose things that I find useful of it. The only thing I really dislike about it is it's at 9 a.m. and I've kind of been sleeping in a little late, so it kind of sucks. I gotta wake up early. You think the Buddhists weren't competing? You think they could just have a 2 p.m. mass or something? I don't know what they're doing, but
I mean, what tomorrow was Thursday.
Yeah, but it's.
Oh, when is your...
It's Sunday.
Okay. What if you wanted to hit all the masses? What if you wanted to go to Buddhist church for a bit, and then go to Catholic church?
Yeah, and
then go to Muslim
church.
And then go to Indian church.
Yeah, what if I want to go to the synagogue, the mosque, and the... What is the Indian church name?
Oh, I think that's another...
Is that also mosque? No.
It might be... I don't know. We'll have to figure it out, but
I'm showing my small-mindedness here.
I heard the Indian church is pretty poggers.
It probably is. Probably pretty poggers.
It's Whoa. That's me doing an Indian prayer.
Yeah, I don't know where I was intending to go with this, other than I'm gonna see how that goes and check it out.
Church it up.
It could be fun. Like I said, I don't know where the relationship will evolve from this point, because he's like going to the point where he's like becoming a different person.
Yeah.
And he wants to even change his name. He wants to go that far with this stuff. So that's cool. Yeah.
Do your thing.
I'm not. Yeah. No kink shaming.
Slay king.
If that's what you're into, don't let me stop you. But Yeah, he's also expressed an interest in some other things, so maybe I'll teach him some stuff. But I just need to. I don't know. I guess I have to think about it from a perspective of I want mutually beneficial relationships, and I want those relationships to not be me constantly giving, sort of thing. So that's another aspect I'm considering because there are points where your friends are down, but you need to set the proper boundaries to be able to hey, I'm gonna engage with you, and you're gonna whatever trauma dump on me, and I'm gonna accept that for these moments. And so whatever.
Yeah.
There's things I need to consider with that. Like if every time we hang out it's just like him bemoaning his situation, then I need to set a boundary and be like, hey man, we can't do this every time. You gotta just like rub one out and figure it out or something. Like I'm being obviously facetious.
Bust a nut and then show up.
Yeah, you'll be less depressed then. Yeah, just get one of those Amazon super suckers.
Here, I'll help you get to the website.
Here, champ. No, so that was another thing I was thinking about because I was thinking about like what am I getting out of this? Like I'm happy to see that I'm getting insight into his life and his ideology and stuff, but I don't know where this relationship goes from here other than like if you're going to change, and this is with the small sample size of I've seen him 3 times and he's converted to Buddhism. Like I don't know where this goes from
what
here.
What a roller coaster.
Yeah, it is. It is like a roller coaster.
Jesus.
So not hating on him. I got nothing against him. I enjoyed it, but
yeah,
it was just interesting because I was like, I've not met anybody in such a short period of time that has gone through such a drastic change, and I do believe it's possible to change. Your mind is malleable, but I think it takes obviously a lot of action, a lot of time to build habit and character to be towards that thing. So
yeah,
it's interesting. It's very fascinating.
Damn.
Yeah, it was wild. That was a weird, like yesterday, and dude, like I woke up at 10 and he sends me a text. He's like, so were we going to hang out at 11? I was like, I'm pretty sure I was thinking 1, like the last time he came over. He's like, oh, well, can we do 12? I'm like, yeah, we can do 12, I guess. And I thought about it a little longer and I'm like, he's here, isn't he? I was like, he's already at the office. I just need to roll out and go open the door for him. And I sent him a text. I was like, if you're here, I'm going to unlock the door. You can come in. And then he comes in, he's like, yeah, I got here at 9. I was like, oh my fucking God.
He's still asleep.
Like, dog, if you, like, I don't know. So we talked about it because I was like, he's like, oh, I didn't want to impose. And I'm like, well, you're already imposing by being here anyways.
Yeah.
But I was like, but regardless of all that, it's not an imposition in some sense because we agreed to hang out.
Yeah.
So I'm not against it. But if you're not going to communicate to me that the information of you're here, then you're already viewing yourself as like not worth my time in a way. Like you're coming from the perspective of I'm not valuable and so I don't want to, like, do you understand? I don't know if I'm explaining this well.
I don't know if I mean like I don't think that him showing up early, like, okay, all right, if you're a person that wakes up early in the morning, like your whole day thing is like completely different, right? If you wake up at 6, your 9 is now like 1.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Sorry, let me try to rephrase this. The way he had said the text to me, he didn't tell me he was here. I had to assume.
Yeah,
and I don't want to have to do that like emotional, mental labor every single time. Like if you're here, I want you to just tell me you're here and waiting.
Yeah,
and then I can make a decision based on that.
Whatever
to do. I shouldn't have to do the legwork to assume what you're feeling, because if you are just going to be passive about it and not tell me and then hold it against me, like you're not giving me the opportunity to make the decision. So that's kind of what I was trying to communicate to him, which I think he got in some capacity. So I was like, I don't care if you show up early. Like if you really want to hang out that early, like I may not be up. You're going to have to deal. And you
have to wait.
He resigned to the fact that, well, he made his bed. He's going to have to stay in it. Like if he has to wait, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's fine. I can shift my stuff. But tell me, like, don't make me do this emotional work to figure out, like, oh, based on who you are, I can imagine you're in the parking lot right now, sitting in your car, taking
You've been
smoke.
waiting.
Yeah. And then, but like, then I'm going to feel bad because something you didn't tell me. Like, that's not how this is working, brother. Like, you're going to fucking tell me. So.
Well, yeah.
So it was interesting. It was very fascinating. So if you listen to this, I got nothing against you. I just want you to know that that's how I felt about that.
Does he know about the podcast?
Yeah, I told him about it.
Is he like, I started on episode 1, what is going on?
I don't think he listened to any of it. And it doesn't matter if he does or doesn't. I mean, there's a lot of content here. I found it fascinating because of such the immediate change of personality traits to go from somebody quick to anger to pacifist is a night and day shift.
Yeah.
But, you know, I can acknowledge it from the perspective of like he wants to change.
You
He
gotta,
wants to overcome this trauma. He wants to do this. So
you know, you could look at it in a way of like, you could go like, if he goes whole hog into this Buddhism and pacifism, right? Um, Even if he fails, there's a part where part of that will stick. And so if you were very angry before and the Buddhism has brought you down to a less angry state, you're going to go maybe not all the way back
yeah.
and regress, or maybe you'll find somewhere in the
Yeah,
middle
I feel
that's
like
like, oh, I can live here.
I feel like at the end of the day, you're going to learn something.
Yeah.
So I don't, even if he fails to, or does, I mean, we say the word fail, but if he chooses not to continue this
Yeah.
train, then whatever.
Yeah.
At some point, he is viewing a path, and I'm happy for him in that respect.
You-
Whether, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
You know, like last year, I decided to start working out because I was like, man, I'm going to get old and frail and junk if I don't actually go and strengthen my body. Well, so like my goal wasn't necessarily to get ripped or anything, but my goal was to just be healthier. And like I do believe like a year later now, I feel healthier. I can go to the gym and like run, and like I weigh slightly less now. It's like, oh hey, I've kind of achieved that. And even if I were to drop off, I still dude, I gotta tell you about the nightmares. But
Oh no, the nightmares.
well, now I've done this thing where if I don't work out, I have these sleepwalking nightmares. They are miserable.
Wow.
And so if I don't work out every other, like, if I work out Monday, I have to work out by Thursday. Otherwise, the nightmares begin.
Interesting. So what do they usually entail?
So it's sleepwalking. So I'll wake up. I woke up, okay, and I look, and like in my head, I knew that there was a leech. There was a leech in our room. It was on my wife's nightstand, and I woke up. I'm like, Rebecca, there's a leech on the nightstand, and she's dealt with this plenty now, where she just like I saw it partially because I'm also halfway asleep. Her open her eyes and just kind of like stare at me, and she said nothing. Like, you're not believing me because you think I'm sleepwalking, but there's a leech on the nightstand.
You're like really manipulative when you sleepwalk.
Oh, very. Yeah. Every time she's like, I know you're sleepwalking. Whenever you say I'm not sleepwalking, you think I'm sleepwalking, don't you? I'm like, and so basically I was like, just turn on the light. There's a leech on the nightstand. I swear to you. And she just kept staring, and I think she like turned her head a little bit and then looked back at me, and I was like, fine. Like, just like went to sleep.
That's fucking great.
I've also had ones where there was, and now this is getting weird because she also had a similar nightmare where there was just some naked dude in her room. I had this nightmare, and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to wake him up. He's like in a room. I'm like, oh, Jesus. How do I deal with this naked guy in my room? Like, what do I even do? And I'm just kind of like, I sit up, I'm like, oh God, how do I deal with the naked guy? And then I go back, and like, I didn't wake her up, or no, actually, at some point I fell back asleep, and I'm like, I got to get rid of the naked guy. And so I kind of like go over and almost like push my wife off the bed. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. It's like a naked guy in here or something. I don't know. But that one I don't remember at all. But she had a nightmare like 2 days ago about a naked guy in our room as well.
That's really weird.
And so we're like, well, maybe it's just a ghost that's like a streaker.
Yeah, maybe you got a streaker ghost. That's fucking wild, dude.
Yeah. So, but anyways, yeah. So I've now noticed if I work out, I have 2 days of no sleepwalking.
Yeah, so you have to work out every 2 days, basically. Yeah, or every 3 days.
Yeah. Otherwise, I suffer.
That's actually really funny because in a way, it's almost like your body needs a certain amount of exercise to be able to get tired enough to fall asleep.
It really does.
Yeah. Now, I felt better I've been doing some more exercise. Yesterday, I was like, man, I really want yogurt, but I don't have a car. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to walk the mile there or mile back. So I did it in the cold, came back, and I was like, I feel pretty good. That was nice. Yeah. And then I also helped my buddy do his business stuff. He had like the bunch of trimming to do, so we did a bunch of trimming for his shit.
Yeah.
So that was like the last 2 days. And I did feel like it kind of fucked up my sleep. People tell me that the cannabinoid stuff isn't effective until it like is heated up or burned.
Sure.
But like if all that oil's on my hands and I'm rubbing my eyes, I still feel like it's doing something. I don't
Do
know.
you feel like a little whatever?
My eyes feel like heavy, like my eyelids and stuff like that, and it feels like it's messed with my sleep. And I've had some really wild dreams these last couple days. But
Well, THC inhibits dreams.
okay, so
So,
then maybe it's
yeah.
not that. Maybe it's something else.
Well, so like whenever I wouldn't smoke weed, but I would smell other people's weed, I felt as though I would get high off of that. So maybe there's something there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now that I've done weed, that no longer happens. But like being around like a plant or something and just smelling it, I'd be like, oh, that smells like it would like kind of, I don't know, my body would like do a little release of dopamine or something just off of the smell of it for some reason. So
yeah, for me it's just hours of like fucking
you're
it and I mean, you just have to ignore the smell at that point because you're like, oh my god, like I'm fucking tired of.
Do you like the smell or do you not?
I don't know. I like the smell of skunk more. Like that's kind of a scale of like weed to skunk, and I actually love the smell of skunk for some reason, but I do not that much like the smell of weed.
Gotcha.
I can actually tell the differences between the strains. Like I can smell them.
Yeah,
They smell different. Sometimes people describe it as like a fruity taste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for the record, I've never done weed or really anything other than alcohol, but
yeah.
like I help trim it, so maybe I am just like
I don't think
I don't think I'm getting high, but
I think that there's something to it though, because like I think I know the feeling that you're talking about, and I would get it from just smelling it.
yeah, and it also could just be like, you know, they do the stuff inside, so potentially there's like powdery mildew and like I don't know, spider mites that are just going up in my nose, and I need a parasite cleanse or something. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, my buddy was hacking up a storm too. He was dying.
Oof.
Yeah, he was like snotting everywhere, and so he was suffering. I don't know.
There's a sickness going on. I mean, I was just sick.
Yeah, it's possible. I think I'm immune to it because you know I got a self-sufficient system here.
Yeah, you're immune.
Yeah, yeah. It's
You
like
go to-
depression. If you don't believe it, it doesn't exist.
You just walk through the hospital. Hey,
yeah.
I'm not gonna get sick.
I don't honestly. I'm a closed loop right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. I've been drinking my urine now.
Yeah.
There's no way anything gets in. I just recycle it all.
Yeah, it's just flowing through
I'm a
you.
circle. I am Ouroboros.
Oh God! But yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So you've been drinking your own urine. I got you.
Yep. It tastes better the more you do it.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just circulate.
Is there anything else in your life going on?
I was supposed to go. So I don't know why I got off of work early today.
Yeah, I was gonna say I noticed you were playing games pretty early yesterday too.
Yeah. So well, right now it's like the week before Christmas week. Right now there's nothing like going on, so like I can leave and go home and still get paid for 8 hours, as long as there's nothing going on. So like I kind of just check in with everybody in the morning and they leave. But today is special because they had a Christmas party. Christmas party, I was told that I was going to be invited to and allowed to go in and all that stuff. Well, what happened? I show up to work today and I'm like, oh hey guys, what's going? Yeah, we just do some like minor garbage, but everybody's like, we're getting off at 10:30. Workday's done at 10:30. So like they're literally locking the doors at 10:30. So like do stuff till about 10:30 and then like I'm like on my way. I'm like, yeah, see you at the party. Oh, hey, I didn't think contractors were invited. And so now I'm like, oh, so like all the people that have been telling me like, hey man, see you at the party, they didn't know, but the person who does seem to know seems to think that contractors are invited. But either way, it doesn't really matter because the party's at 1 o'clock and I'm getting off of work at 10:30 and work is 20 minutes away from my house. So what am I going to do? Why would I just lounge around in a parking lot for like an hour? So I just came here and I'm just not going to go to the party.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Especially if you don't even know you're invited. Like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. So I guess I'll hear about it tomorrow. Like, oh, where were you? You know.
Yeah, and be like, well, somebody told me contractors weren't invited to the party.
Yeah, so.
Or maybe you'll get a text well, I mean, it's like 1 now. You'll get a text in like 30 minutes. Some guy will be like, dude, I've been waiting for you this entire time.
Saved you a beer.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be drunk at a axe throwing place today.
Yeah, what are we doing?
What? So I didn't really feel like drinking either at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it's kind of early.
A little bit. I think it's better to drink earlier in the day because then by nighttime you have all the alcohol in your system. But,
for sure.
You know, I had this revelation recently with drinking.
Yeah.
I don't really care for it. too much.
Hmm.
I think I could go completely sober.
That's interesting because you drink often.
Somewhat.
Yeah, in social gatherings, anyways.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just social things. So it's like, I go out and see friends, and that's what we do. We go to a bar.
Mhm.
I go over to my family, and everybody's drinking. That's whenever I have a beer and all that. So, like, I'm kind of realizing, like, I don't really need that, and I could probably stop, but it's just like the social implementate whatever. The social aspect of like drinking with my family is just not easy to get around, I guess.
Yeah, I feel that. In situations where I'm like with people, because I eat very specific food now. I mean, I'm not a picky eater, but if I see trash food or something that I deem as judge as trash, I'm like, I'm not gonna eat it. I'd rather just fast and then eat what I want to eat later because I
Yeah.
can make food. It tastes better anyways. So I noticed that like it can be awkward in certain scenarios to be like, well, no, I'm good. I'd rather just starve myself or fast or whatever.
I'd rather just starve than
Yeah,
eat your food.
like the other day, it was like somebody brought a bunch of pizzas, but it was like I don't know, like I'd rather not eat that. I'd rather just eat the salmon I'm making later,
Yeah.
sort of thing. But then you also kind of sound like pretentious or something
Yeah.
saying that.
No, I'm going to eat my salmon
Yeah.
later.
No, I'm going to squeeze a lemon over my salmon. Like I don't know, it's
This isn't caviar.
yeah.
I will be eating at home.
Like I appreciate that you got these pizzas, but I do
But-
not appreciate it enough to eat them.
Little Caesars isn't up
Yeah.
to my standards.
Yeah. So it's weird. And then there's also that balance of like, oh, they'll be like, oh, like if you're with people, they'll be like, oh, you want some alcohol? I'll be like, no. Like, do you want any weed? Like, no. Like, do you want to eat anything? Like, no. Like,
I'm just here.
yeah, I'm just here to like
Exist.
chill.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, well, what do you do for fun? It's like, oh, well, I go on ChatGPT and create weird deviant sex bots that I chat with for hours on end. That's kind of like my thing.
They're like, so you take ecstasy then?
Yeah.
Or-
And you're like, no, sorry, I'm good.
Yeah. No, the thing is too, I do enjoy drinking socially.
Mm.
I just hate I guess what am I saying then, right? Because if I do actually enjoy drinking socially, why do I think that I don't?
Yeah, you just lying to me.
Am I just lying to everybody? I think that I don't like drinking at home.
Ah, okay.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it.
I just don't like, having beer.
Mm-hmm.
I do like beer. I like the taste of it, but I don't like the effects of beer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, dude.
That's okay. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You got time.
I got plenty of time.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna fill it with League of Legends.
Yeah.
Stuff.
You're playing a lot of stuff. I saw a bunch of games come up on there.
You haven't played Civ too?
Yeah, I saw Civ on there.
Yeah.
Civ 6.
Yeah.
We were playing some other weird game the other day.
The finals.
Yeah, that. It didn't sound like a game. It sounded like schoolwork or something.
Yes, the finals.
Yeah.
That's a really cool game. You might want to check out.
I'll have to look at it.
Um,
I bought a bunch of games and I was playing them, and then I was like, man, what the fuck is the point? Kind of like, I know I'm a game designer and I need to play games, but all these games I play, I'm like, these kind of suck. So I'm like, yeah.
Let me tell you about my review of Flip Witch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, tell me. I put like 40 minutes into Flip Witch, and I was like, some of the animations are kind of cool.
Okay, this is gonna sound stupid, but I just wanted to play a Metroidvania that wasn't made by Nintendo. So I was like, hey, says it's a Metroidvania. I look at it, it looks like a Metroidvania. Cool. Let me go ahead and try this. I'm not one, like, I don't care too much about the pixel art. Like, I'm not gonna jack off to it, I guess. Personally, not
a fan of the Gussie, the goblin porn.
Yeah, the Gussie.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't even that. It's just, it's all right, I guess.
Yeah.
But that game, the first boss, glitchy. And I was like, oh no, it's setting a precedent for like garbage. The other bosses weren't as glitchy, but way too easy. And like I don't know if there was difficulty modifiers, but I think the difficulties were like baby mode and normal. I played on normal, and like the harder part was finding all the collectibles.
Yeah.
Than like
I actually,
I don't know.
So from the 40 minutes I played it, Jade was watching me play it. I like some of the art, some of it's kind of like generic. I really dislike how they always seem to make the boys look like little boys rather than
Yeah.
like I want like a I don't know, jacked looking dude or something.
Yeah,
Like,
like-
give me a Tiro. Why does the chick look voluptuous and the guy look like a fucking 16-year-old?
Yeah.
Like a chubby, I don't know. It's
I,
whatever. But
yeah.
for my review of 40 minutes of playing it, obviously. So if anybody doesn't know, Flipwitch is a new game that came out relatively recently. And I really like the concept of it conceptually. This idea of you switch between a boy and a girl wizard in wizard dress or whatever. You flip back and forth in order to solve like Metroidvania type puzzles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, the annoying thing to me, and this is obviously only 40 minutes into it, you've played longer, so you can probably tell me, but there was literally no mechanical difference between being the man and the woman at all.
No.
Like, basically, all it was is you would flip between them to, like, essentially go through gates that were coded to your specific gender.
Yeah.
And that was basically it. I'm like, what the fuck is the point? Like, you have a whole game here.
Yeah.
You have this concept of flipping between genders, and there's no, like, female strengths and like male weaknesses or vice versa.
Yeah.
Like it's not like the guy doesn't jump higher or like something. I don't know. Like
honestly, the easiest way they could do it is like the girl has like a stronger shooting attack and the guy had like a better melee or something. And it would have been like, oh, hey, some difference.
Yeah, even then I could have like used that to swap in different situations. Like that would have been nice.
The only parts that really matter for that, because there's like puzzles where it's like, okay, so in order to jump on this thing you got to be a guy, and jump on this one you got to be a girl, so midair you got to hit the L button to switch, and there's like nothing there really. But the bosses have cool things where like they'll make attacks that are pink and blue coded, and so you have to like switch to do that, and I think that is the best that they did,
which is stupid because for the PlayStation 1 like years ago, like, okay,
this exists.
Yeah, this exists already. So there's two games I'm thinking of. One is a Danmaku shooter called Ikaruga. And it's a vertical scrolling shooter where you flip your spaceship like black or white. And you have to not only like avoid bullets in different forms, but deal with the boss mechanics in different forms. The other one that I really like is a platforming game called Silhouette Mirage, and it's based on the direction you face, either left or right, when you're running. And then there's a bunch of mechanics of like certain enemies or certain colors, and you can grapple and tackle them and beat them up and shit. And then like this has already existed throughout all the time, but the problem is that Flipwitch doesn't do anything different. It's just like porn, which looks okay, with this kind of like generic game thrown in there.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck is the point? Like, at least make it fun.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's certain things that I kind of thought were cool. Like, I don't know if you got any costumes.
No. Oh, I did get one costume, I think.
The costumes do matter, and all of them unlock things, right? There'll be side quests. You gotta go talk, like, I gotta get the freaking sexy mailman costume, go talk to this girl, and she's like, will you deliver my mail? And then you go deliver her mail, and she's like, I don't know how to pay you. And then you unlock porn. But, like, that was cool, but it only lasts for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, maybe if like while I'm doing the mail thing I can run faster or something, it would be cool, but you know.
Yeah, it's a shame. And there was probably a lot of potential to do like a narrative, like interesting thing with it, because you know there's all this talk in liberal media about gender-specific biological things being the result of social. And they could have used that as a platform to not like make a politically active game or something, but it could have been interesting to be like, oh, well, the man has these traits, the woman has these traits, and then flip them at some point. Like, maybe make it about perception. I don't know. Just say anything. Make it interesting. Like, I mean, the porn, it looks okay. I don't like the weird goblin whatever, but
thing. Well, I mean, but,
like, come on, man.
None of it was like, oh, dude, say.
Yeah. Like, I hate bemoaning this and criticizing this because the art direction is good. It looks... it looks nice. But the game just sucks. And I dislike the... This is just a complaining podcast.
Yeah, it's just like, this is our review of Flipwitch and how I was led to believe that it was going to be not necessarily better, but I was ready to experience something that was a good game that had porn. I think,
Yeah.
you know what? There needs to be a category of more games that are games first, and then
Yeah.
they just add in the
Yeah.
random, like, because, like, every once in a while, I don't know why this exists, but every once in a while it's like, oh, hey, I do want to play a game that has, like, nudity for some
No,
reason
I
or
get you.
something.
You're
Yeah.
like, I'm an adult and I'm playing a game, but I want there to be adult themes in my game.
Sure, yeah.
And that's how I kind of feel like it. I'm like, okay, well, like sometimes I want to see, things, but I also want to play a game as
Hmm.
well. And like, why can't, it's almost always there's this imbalance of like it's more porn than game or it's more game than porn. But I struggle to find the more game than porn more often than that. Like
Yeah.
the only one that I found that's kind of like, and porn, we have to define porn because one of the games I'm thinking of in my head is like Fear and Hunger. But that's more of just like an RPG with some like adult elements in it, and it's not really like made to stimulate you to the point where you're like, oh, I want to beat off to this. It's more like, wow, there's this giant golem with like a huge dick, and I need to kill him, otherwise he's gonna cut my head off and kill me, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you can attack his penis,
Sure.
basically. Like that's the difference.
Yeah.
It's just like weird adult elements mixed in with.
I mean, you can do like a good game that has like I don't know if this is actually a good game, but I enjoyed playing Hoonie Pop, which is just a game where you just
Yeah,
connect three orbs.
it's like a Bejeweled type
Yeah.
match 3 game.
I enjoy those games by default, but also they have this. It's like a dating sim where you have to remember things, and there's quizzes, and then you have to play this mini game good, and there's RPG parts of that. But like they did that part where it wasn't like you didn't have to focus too much; it was more casual, and I think that made it an interest. Like even if you didn't have the porn parts, it would still be a decent game, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I hate to just spend this whole podcast complaining, but
Here we are.
we're here now.
So yeah, anyway, yeah, nightmares.
Nightmares.
What else happened in my life, dude?
You tell me.
I wish I had like a log of things that happened.
I keep a journal.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was thinking about writing topics. I just couldn't remember anything but the nightmare thing.
Let's see what I said.
Water, dude.
Yeah, go get some water. Oh, or drink it.
I'm out, I think.
Go get some. I'll look at my journal.
I can keep the mic on. I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, so I can just pretend like I'm talking to you still.
Yeah, you can talk over me because I can't hear you.
Yeah, exactly. So like, anyways, Cody, I just thought that the game industry is oh wait, there's better water in there. Yeah, just want a little bit of this. I want to take all the water. Oh yeah. But yeah, anyways, in the Middle Ages, people used to throw each other over walls to get into the big cities. And now people are trying to leave the big cities. What do you think of that?
It's hard to say.
Imagine you're in the Middle Ages and you're like, man, I want to live a good life, and I want to be able to do stuff. And you're like, the only way I can do that really is to get into one of these big cities with the walls on it. And so you're like, I'm going to try to get in there any way I can. Like at first, maybe you're a beggar outside or something. You can't like get in. Then eventually you get in, like you're living your life inside the walls, and like it's the best. And now we live in a world without walls. There's a lot fewer walls in cities. And now you can walk wherever, but you can't live in any of it because it's all really expensive.
I watched this talk recently. It was like a TED talk, and the guy was talking about city architecture and how it's really shit in America, basically.
Yeah.
And how they don't design cities with like the idea of like
People?
European cities, yeah, where like people walk
Yeah.
around. There's like ground level shops. There's like things to do. There's like places where people coagulate and
Yeah.
like work together and stuff like that. And we have all these like weird urban malls with like just concrete hellscapes like
Yeah.
around them and stuff like that. And he was talking about the different ways that you can remodel these malls once they fail in order to make like those city spaces. I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It was
Dude,
profound.
you should talk to my cousin. He's a big fan of trains. He's a big fan of not using cars. And I think that you'd have an interesting conversation with him because he has a lot of things to say about trains. And
Interesting. Yeah, I like trains. I like the concept of trains.
imagine if you could walk somewhere to get to like a bunch of stores. It'd be nice.
I like the idea of like I love, and this is probably the inner weeb in me coming out, but the idea in Japan of like just taking a train to the countryside and like going to like a small inn for like a couple days. Like here we gotta get like a car, drive,
rent a car, buy a car, have a car, and just pay for gas.
Yeah, it's like it's not cheap or efficient like I feel like the subways in Japan are.
Yeah, it would be so easy for us to have like a train that just goes north.
Yeah, like maybe I would just spend my time riding trains. I don't know if I'd ever, and then I could.
You know, we have more rails here in the U.S., but a lot of them are unused or private because apparently we have private rails.
Yeah, I have had a fantasy and desires to just do that train hopping stuff where you get on the train and just, but that also seems like potentially dangerous in different regards.
Yeah, well, it's like if you get caught, I think you go to jail.
Yeah.
Which just isn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I'm already hearing impaired, so odds are my sneak ability isn't going to be as good as somebody else's.
Yeah. Yeah. So. You know.
Yeah. So anyways, I was looking at my journals, and my latest stuff is talking about this concept of how your past memories affect you. I was thinking a lot about recently and trying to bring more conscious how potentially a lot of my habits are formed from like feelings that I'm not resolving. Like specifically like almost a decade ago now, my ex at the time like cheated on me with somebody, and I feel like I have a lot of unresolved feelings with regard to that. Like I'm not accepting in some ways that I feel angry and betrayed and hurt and stuff like that. So I've been going through that recently and thinking about it, and I don't know what else to say about it other than it's amazing to me, and this is both with my friend who converted to Buddhism as well. It made me think a lot about it, how much trauma can affect your person, like who you are, what you do, how you act. Like I almost recognize in a lot of ways that I guess the most important thing that I need to recognize is that I don't need to internalize all of these things because they're not a reflection of me. Like, sure, I was hurt, but I'm not broken, and I was betrayed, but it doesn't mean I can't trust people in the future, and like I'm still capable of love. It's just like I have developed like defensive strategies because of that situation, how much it has affected me, but I wasn't acknowledging how much it's affected me until now, essentially. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, I made all this kind of like about me in a way. Like I'm internalizing all of this pain and then just sort of like not dealing with it, basically. Like instead of being like her cheating on me is a reflection of her and not myself. And then also like even I'm like pitying myself by focusing on the way I cheated on my girlfriend instead of acknowledging like, hey, this is something I did, and like obviously we're imperfect, but like what led up to it? Why did I go up to this point? And I've thought about that in different capacities, but to spell it all out like that kind of feels like relieving in a way because you're like, oh, I'm kind of just bottling all this up and not dealing with it, even if I thought I was dealing with it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. A little bit of journaling, it helps.
Yeah. I wish I was better at it.
I go on and off. Like through the month of October, I did every day. And then November, I don't know what the fuck happened. And then December, I'm kind of doing like every other day. So. Yeah. But you know, some things come up, some things don't. Sometimes you're busy. Sometimes it's hard to find time.
Sometimes like because even like at the end of the day, I'll think about like just whatever random junk. I think like that is like mental journaling, and if I just wrote that down, that would be my journal, right? But like some days I just don't have anything thoughtful to think about. Sometimes I'll just like think about like theoretical random garbage, or like I used to text you a bunch about like random video games, like, yo, what if this was a video
Your
game?
ideas were funny and interesting, yeah.
It just yeah.
I still think about some of them to this day in different capacities, but
I think that like sometimes like what if I just did that instead of what I'm doing now? Would I have a good time? I don't know.
I guess There's nothing stopping you from trying it. I mean,
No,
you like video games clearly.
I
So
yeah, but I don't. Dude, the thing with video game, it's I've tried.
yeah,
I think like the biggest thing is like the thing that keeps me doing things is people around me. So like whenever I do an activity by myself, whether it be piano playing, guitar, or whatever, I kind of like use people around me as the motivation for that thing. And so whenever it comes down to like let me just do this for myself, I'll do it a little bit and be like I could continue down this, but I'm good.
yeah. It does seem like there's the difference between like external validation and internal validation, and I frankly I don't know what the answer is to fully divorce yourself from
Yeah, but
external validation.
we'll see. Like, I don't think it's necessarily validation. I don't think it's. I'm not doing it. I'm doing it because I want something for myself, somewhat. Like, okay, all right, wait a second. I don't know. I think I'm tangling a bunch of things.
It's okay. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, I
That's what
know.
we're here for.
But basically, like, so, like, part of the reason why I wanted to play guitars because, like, friends of mine started like playing guitars and doing stuff. I'm like, man, it's really cool. They're like playing songs together and stuff. I'm like, maybe I want to do that, right? And I do want an outlet for myself to do something creatively. So let me try and do this. So part of it is for myself, but without the other people around me kind of going like, "Hey, we're playing guitar with each other and you're not doing it." I don't really have much. So maybe it is all external.
Mm.
Who knows?
Yeah, you have to think about that. Maybe you need to write a journal about it.
Oh, you know what? I should start writing a journal.
At least just one about that. I mean, you could do one, spend 10 minutes talking to yourself about that problem in a journal.
Yeah,
Because I feel like it helps.
it does. It does.
I'm not sure where the threshold of like, how much do I need to reread, how much do I need to do thing comes in.
Well, so like, yeah. Well, see, like whenever I write a journal, dude, writing it is easy. Rereading it, I'm like, oh, I know all this, which sounds stupid. It's like I
get what
just
you're
wrote
saying.
that.
Yeah, you're like, I don't have any motivation to read this again because I just wrote it.
Well,
sort of
even
thing.
yeah, but even if I did reread it, it's like this is like useless information. I just made this. I don't ever need this ever again. Like if I just thought this is the same way, but I forget my own thoughts. Whereas if I write them down, I'll remember them.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if there's a perception of like you don't value your own opinions or something there. I don't know. Maybe I'm just psychoanalyzing.
I don't know. I do, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm good. I don't know.
It's hard to say, yeah, how consistent everything is.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what the barometer for this stuff
Anything.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how do I could tell you with math, like the quality of certain things and the quantity versus quality, but when it comes to like the introspection, like I don't know what the threshold for
Usefulness.
utility is.
Yeah.
I do it. I mean, I write down my dreams. I have weird dreams. I think about them. I consider what my unconscious is communicating to me, and then I try to go from there. But all of it could basically be a crapshoot. I'm not entirely sure.
Who knows? Yeah, but if it helps you, it helps you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel, I guess, that's actually probably a funny thing you mentioned, because in that Soso no Freiren anime, the manga I read, one of the things they said was, humans throughout all of history can go through and deal with the unknown and let it be unknown. Like, we can still make boats and not understand buoyancy.
Sure.
And, like, there's that, you can use that concept everywhere. You can still do things without knowing and then just resign your fact to the fact that you won't know, essentially.
Yeah.
I guess the annoying thing is that it feels like you want answers, but they're not there.
Yeah.
Because, like, how do I know the threshold for how much introspection I need to do to become a holistic? That's something I have to define for myself, but even that feels wishy-washy. Like,
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's, oh, God. Defining your own things is also weird. Right? Because, I mean, like, okay, if I define, like, so All right, I want to know why I keep wanting to pick up instruments. Is it all external? Is it internal? All this other stuff. But I mean, like, will I ever be satisfied if I ever come up with an answer? Like, if I sit here and like talk to you about it, and like we eventually come to something, eventually something else will pop in my head and be like, but actually the opposite. So if we really take all this, and I can just go forever.
Yeah, you're just intellectualizing about it forever instead of just playing the instrument, which is you feel intuitively you want to do.
Yeah.
So,
But do I? No.
yeah, maybe at the end of the day, you just got to keep picking up that guitar and see what happens, or the piano, whatever it is.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask you what that is.
What is?
Folim.
Fallen. Oh, the gum?
Oh, that's gum?
Yeah, dude, you want to try some? Every one of my friends has said they hate it, but I kind of like it.
I can't wait to either break the mold or become a part of it.
So this gum kind of tastes like somebody left like a raspberry like a couple miles away from the factory.
So it's kind of like the LaCroix of gum,
Yeah,
where
it
somebody
is.
whispered the word raspberry at it.
Yeah, the reason I like it is because like I can chew it for like 10 hours, and it still stays the same. Like kind of for me, it just turns into gum. It's just I'm chewing to chew basically.
It's like you started out like at the end of a gum's life cycle. That's where it starts.
Yeah.
It even has the same texture.
Yeah, dude. It literally you can chew it for like literally 8 hours and it's the same thing. It barely changes. It's like it's like having already used gum.
Yeah. It's like they scraped it off the table.
Yeah.
The underside of the table are like scrape that off and
Yeah.
then remove all the minty or any kind of flavor. We don't want that.
But yeah, dude, it's
Sell
like it was like $6 for like a huge thing.
I bet.
And I was like I've been chewing it. I feel like my jaw is getting stronger.
Yeah.
It's sore.
You're just
So, yeah, it's like an endless chew. Yeah, you're just there for hours. You should honestly see how long you can keep it in there because
I will.
it expands a little bit. I noticed like it's when you add more saliva to it, it feels like you had more gum than when you started with. But the flavor just kind of like is already non-existent and gets more non-existent, and then you're just chewing gum. But it has no preservatives or anything. I mean, it's just like
It is nothing.
it's gum.
It's just
it's
gum.
Literally, it's just an excuse to chew. Is all it is.
You know, I'm surprised it doesn't get like thin like normal gum.
No, it expands over time. It's really strange. I don't know how they managed it, but
It tastes a little bit of a flavor.
there's something vaguely
There's
there.
something there.
Yeah, like
it's just enough to keep you interested.
Yeah, I was like, man, I really want something to chew, but I don't want something sugary. And so I was looking up, and everyone online said this is the best flavor for this brand. And I was like, it makes me want to try the other flavors.
Yeah,
of
this is
brand.
the best one. What?
Yeah, what are the worst ones? Yeah, maybe we'll have to buy it and do a gum chewing podcast next.
It's
Maybe
like
people will like
terrible.
listening to that. And our fucking mics.
But I mean, like,
We just like move up to here and we're just chewing.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
our heads chewing for like an hour and a half. Holy shit.
this is like
I couldn't even tell you what country it comes from because there's like German on the package, and then it also seems like
I thought it was like Swedish
I don't know,
with
man.
the name.
Yeah, maybe it's a European
Flum.
thing. Whatever it is,
Flum.
it's like nothing gum basically.
Yeah. I wonder, like, they created this and they whispered the word blackberry at it,
Yeah,
and like they're like, yeah, yep.
I want to
Perfect.
know how they implemented the flavor. Like, did somebody just like, I don't know, bite a raspberry and then like a little bit of spittle ended up in like the big vat or whatever they make this in?
They have a giant mixing machine.
Yeah.
And a guy with an eyedropper squeezes a little bit and goes, bloop, and like
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. Like, did they decide that they couldn't do more, or is this like the limitation of what they have? Like that, I gotta know.
I have no idea.
It's so weird. Like, was this a conscious choice, or did somebody go like, "Whoa, that's too much raspberry"? Or
Yeah, wait
something?
a second. Calm down there.
Yeah, like, oh, you gotta do less, and then they're like, "This is great," and then everybody else is like, "This tastes like nothing."
There's like 5 guys that are like in whatever country this comes from. There's 5 guys that are like, we gotta keep it running.
Yeah, keep it going. I'll get the other flavors and we can try them. I bet they're just as great. Vaguely something flavor.
The more you chew, it does taste better.
It does, yeah. You just like the chewing, and the gum consistency warms up. It's not as hard anymore, and then, like I said, the gum expands, so you feel like you have more gum for some reason.
I wonder if this is good for your teeth. Probably not. Maybe.
I think chewing in general is good for your teeth.
Yeah, you
like,
get
we have so
stuff
much
off.
soft baby food now that you don't really. You're not using those muscles as much.
Baby food.
It is. It's like baby food.
We don't crunch bones.
Yeah, nothing.
Not no more.
Yeah, we don't pick our teeth with raccoon penises or anything. Like,
I'm ready. Give me a raccoon penis.
Yeah, none, we don't do that anymore at all. So.
Well, anyway, dude.
Yeah, I think, is that the wrap?
Is that
Do
it?
you have anything else you want to say?
I don't know.
We got the food review in here.
Oh my god, we haven't done a food review in a while.
Yeah, and this is the most annoying one because you're chewing right into the mic.
You remember when I brought
perfect.
that Indian stuff?
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That Indian stuff was good.
They
Maybe
got
we'll
some good
get some those beetle nuts.
No, God.
Have our 5 cups of coffee and a nut.
Why don't we just try tobacco live?
Yeah, we'll just chew it.
Yeah, we'll just get chewing tobacco.
Oh,
We'll be like,
God,
yeah,
that
so how
sounds-
do you do this? And then we just pass out and throw up.
Like, why do people do this?
And then like the next episode, we both got full lips.
Oh,
We're like,
God.
yeah, dude, it's pretty good.
That stuff is so gross to me. I hate that.
Oh.
I fucking hate that. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to move towards getting a nicotine addiction anytime soon, but...
No.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
fun.
dude.
Yeah, I think that was good.
Yeah.
But we complained a lot about stuff
We
and
did.
talked about stuff.
Yeah, I ate some gum. We talked about, like, I don't know, life, existence, my innermost thoughts. Goodbye.